Hey everyone, King Size Customs here, coming to you with a video. Now, I'm going to actually be quiet, let us load up, drop in a song, and then I'll come back with our topic. One more episode till the special, guys. Yep, this is episode 4. Next episode will be episode 5 in our special. But anyway, today's topic, I'd like to talk to you about how in my short life, technology has changed society. Now, my oldest nephew, who's all of about 10, I won't give his name because his mommy probably doesn't approve of me talking about this, but you guys don't really know him. You may or may have not seen him in a video. Anyway, he has a smartphone now, which, when I was about 10 years old, yeah, we all wanted cell phones, but, well, I wanted a cell phone, but I didn't get one until about 16. And that was for a different reason anyway. But the funny thing is, I know you guys are probably all thinking and saying the same thing. Preaching to the choir, you're one of these old guys who's going to complain about having a cell phone. Well, the reason I bring this up is I feel that in a span of 16 years, yes, 16 years since we're living in 2019, our society has changed, and some of us, myself included, can't keep ourselves from hearkening back to an old time. You know, I see a lot of these posts about you could have this wonderful, and it's a picture of like a log cabin in the woods next to a lake. It's really scenic, and I had a feeling I was going to hit that trailer. Nothing I could do. By the way, we also have trailers with real logos like that, Staples. But anyway, so we see pictures where it's like a wonderful cabin next to a lake, and it's powered by water. It's a hydroelectric powered cabin with water wheel. Anyway, and the caption is, you could have this if you could give up your cell phone for the rest of your life. Now, honestly, I don't think a lot of us could do that. Me personally, I couldn't because medical reasons. You know, I need to be able to call out. I need to be in an area that's, I want to say, not really too metropolitan, but I need to be close to a hospital just because of medical reasons. I'll go into some of my health issues later, but that's a topic for another video. I'll have to write that down. But, you know, yes, I harken back to a time that's more, I want to say a time that's not as advanced as ours. I'm not talking about the 1950s. You know, I'd like to go back to maybe the 70s, but that would be tough. 80s still would be a little difficult. 90s would be okay, but I'd have to be super uber rich. And let's think about this. If I'm going back in time, that might not be the best option for me because I might be blind by now. I'm 24. Several of my friends, and I've said this before, also have glaucoma. Because of not having good insurance, they didn't get to see the good doctors that I got to see, and they're blind. Me, I have limited vision, but compared to some of these people, I have like the best vision. So, but anyway, you know, it's real easy to romanticize the past, especially when you haven't been there. I realize that. You know, each era or year has its highs and lows. But what I really want to say, going back to the technology thing and about my nephew having a cell phone, is I think that a lot of what happens is we as a society embrace technology without fully understanding what its effects are. How many times have you been walking down the street and you've seen someone on their cell phone while walking and they're just totally out of it? They don't even know where they're going. They don't see you. They almost bump into you. They're using their peripheral vision to they're using their peripheral vision to walk around, to kind of navigate themselves in the world. And that's not good. There's a lot you miss with peripheral vision that if you had used your central vision, you would see. So, but that's just me. I know I struggle with peripheral vision. You're actually going to see a little bit here where I have a little bit of a struggle coming up. And I'm not going to give it away. You guys will see it, but the other thing is, I've noticed that in 16 years, people have gotten a little bit more rude. It's nothing to see a person texting in the middle of a checkout line at a supermarket or, the local pizza eatery that I go to. Alright, for those of you who can't see, I tapped a traffic police motorcycle. I didn't knock it over, but in the real world, that would have been a lot worse. So, but yeah, at the local pizza restaurant that I go to, there's a sign that says, if you're going to be rude on your cell phone, don't expect us to be nice in return, or expect me to be rude in return. And it's a laminated sign. Now, they also have a few other funny signs, like, don't listen to your parents, move out and get your own job. I think that's kind of their, I think that's saying, we need help, or help wanted. Just a lot of other little funny things happen at this pizza restaurant. Sign-wise, they write little funny signs. But that's the thing. Technology moves so much faster than I feel that society is able to go along with. It moves at a rate that we don't get introduced to technology as fast. Like, I have an iPhone 8 Plus, and I don't know half of the things it can do. I didn't even know there was a health app for it. Of course, a lot of you guys are probably saying, no, it goes with your Apple Watch, which, I still wear a classic Casio, not classic, but I wear a regular non-smartwatch. I wear a regular dress watch every day of my life because I need it for alarms. That way I know when to go get my medication. And I know with the smartwatch it probably would be, I could do all the same things with the smartwatch that I could do with this regular dress watch. But to me it doesn't look as nice. I like the presentation of my Casio G-Shock. Yes, it's a G-Shock. I know. Not really a quality timepiece, not something like a Seikyo or Citizen, but hey, it was a gift. I use it every day. It hasn't failed me for the past, 2000. It hasn't failed me for the past 10 years. Holy crap, I've had my watch for 10 years. Two things. The battery died when I was a sophomore in college. I graduated, same battery. A link fell out of my watch. Took it to a local watchmaker. All they did was pop the brad nail in it. Still have the same band. And now I wear it all the time, except when I'm getting a shower. So, but getting back to that, with the smartwatches, and the other thing too is, you gotta imagine, I'm washing dishes, I'm out in the rain. I don't know how water resistant these smartwatches are. You're using a glass screen, so that could get scratched. I don't really track my exercise with my watch. I really don't need to. My watch has the date in it, and half the time I look at that, but the other thing is, with smartphones, like I have an iPhone Plus 8, or 8 Plus, my nephew has, I think it's like a Samsung Galaxy something. The time comes up digitally. You can also use the analog clock if you want to unlock your phone. The phone displays the date. don't get me wrong, I use my phone for a lot of things. I use my phone to check my bank balance, I check my emails, I check YouTube, I find myself watching YouTube off my phone. So, yeah, I'm probably one of the people who couldn't go without their phone for a little while. But I'm also not as bad as some of these people out here who are glued to it every 5 seconds, like it's glued to their hand. In high school, there was an issue where teachers had to take people's phones half the time. My teachers didn't even know I had a cell phone, which was hilarious. Now, also too, at the time, I didn't have a top-of-the-line cell phone either. I had a Virgin Mobile Oyster. For those of you who are not in the know, that was a flip phone when flip phones were the thing. Not talking camera flip phones. I'm talking regular flip phones. It was a step up from a flip phone that was in black and white. Mine was in color. Man, I thought I was the coolest cat. I got it in about 6th grade. And man, I used that phone to text. Well, no, I didn't text that much off of that thing because it still had a regular number pad. So, but yeah, I called a lot of people off that. I downloaded ringtones, typical kid stuff. I almost bedazzled it. I think that's what you call it. You know, the little stick-on gems. I also used it as a dad phone, where I had like the little belt clip holster for it. And, you know, I was so cool. It was like quick draw McGraw with that phone. I could flip the little holster open and pull the phone out. Oh, that train horn is mine. That's to warn people that I'm coming. So, but yeah, I would pull that phone out, flip, and then stick my fingernail underneath it, my thumb fingernail, and then just flip the phone open. And then to hang up, I'd be like, hey, see ya, and then like flip it closed real quick. And then that phone died to the point where it was like I'd have to open up the phone halfway, otherwise the screen would go all black, so I think I killed some pixels in that. Next phone I got was a loaner phone from my brother, which was a LG Rumor 2. That was the phone that I really did appreciate. Camera phone, not the greatest of cameras, slide out keyboard so you could text, and it was a QWERTY keyboard. So pretty much what you have in front of you if you have a laptop or desktop with a keyboard. That phone, man, that phone, I texted a lot. I never really sent pictures with that. So, other thing was the screen was so small that it had internet and it had email, but I really didn't use it for that. I mean, for something important like high school, yeah, I was in a play in high school, and that's where I used it the most. That's when I used the internet feature and the email feature of that the most. Next phone after that, I got some Android, big screen, nice no keyboard, touch screen though. And at the time, a 4.5 pixel camera, which was great. I didn't really do Instagram. I don't think at that time Instagram was the thing. I took some pictures, and they're all backed up now. I have what pictures I took off of that phone on a Google account, which was cool. Which at the time I didn't understand how Google was related to Android. Oh, get back in your lane, Kevin. Yeah, at the time I didn't understand how you could take a picture on your phone and it would get transferred to the internet. So, but anyway, that I used to watch YouTube on all the time, and that's how I found out about YouTube Mobile. The problem was, because it was an Android, the apps were so big and consumed so much space, and a lot of it, I would just run out of space half the time. So there were times where I was doing YouTube Mobile, but I was doing it from a website. Like I was Googling YouTube on my phone, and then Facebook, I always had the Facebook app. The other thing was I loved downloading, like I'd love to get music. So I would actually get music on my phone. You could use ringtones. You could use your own songs for ringtones, which I thought was the coolest thing. You didn't have to buy them. So, but that could get you, I could see how that could get you in trouble. But, and here's the funny thing. now I realize how reliant on cell phones I was. Because I spent most of this video, it's only about 27 minutes, I spent most of this video talking about my cell phone experience. When really it was a video about how society has changed in 16 years and that we haven't really caught up. We don't fully understand the dangers. There are people who, well, I don't want to say it like that, but there are some dangers with cell phones. You run into situations where it's like, okay, if somebody sees my phone, how do I explain this? Random people sending you naked pictures. Not that that's really ever happened to me. It was mostly just in Instagram. I've been getting direct messages for certain websites that I'd rather not repeat because it's a family channel. Instagram, I take pictures of these accounts after they've been blocked, just to let people know that I really don't want fake accounts on there. So, but yeah, what I wonder is, you see a lot of these kids with these cell phones and the iPads or tablets. The reason I say iPad is just because it's the most famous one. But, you see all this happening, and I know nobody really talks about it too much. I'm probably late to the party about this. But my question is, how do we monitor ourselves and our children on these? Now, I'm not a parent, so I can't give advice on parenting. I was a psych major, but I'm not a therapist. I'm not qualified enough for that. My thing is, how I would do it is, my kids, if they had a smartphone or a tablet, if I have kids, and probably by the time that I have kids, there'll be something else out, I would probably put a time limit of maybe an hour a day when they could have these devices. Now, I'm not saying phone's different, I would have it restricted so that they couldn't go on the internet. They could only call certain numbers, my work number, my significant, well, I don't have to say it. You guys know I'm a straight male. My wife's phone number, and emergency services. And maybe their uncle and grandmother. But when they come home, they'd have semi-restricted internet access. Firewalls to block them from going to inappropriate sites, because we all know. Once the internet came out, teenagers everywhere started finding whatever they wanted. So, the other thing is, I just worry about the future generations. Well, and I know I sound so old. I'm only 24. I'll be 25 this March. My thing is, it's the other people that I worry about, It's the other kids who are raised with this, let's say, who, they didn't have to wait for a smartphone. They were already, by the time they were born, the smartphone was out. Like me, I was born in 1994. I think the smartphone at that time was like a Nokia tri-flip cell phone, and you had to be somebody to have one of those. My dad had one, and he was working for York Electronics, and I mean, he was like the only one out of everybody in my whole family that had a cell phone. Or no, that's a lie. My uncle, who works for a nonprofit, had a cell phone. It's just crazy to think that you grow up with something and you've seen it progress, and then somebody younger comes along and it's like, oh, so that's what that is. That's the thing I always wonder about. If you were raised with something versus that thing being there when you're born, let's say, do you really enjoy it as much? I mean, it took me a while to get my first iPhone. I was a junior in college. So not that long ago, and it was an iPhone. I think it was an iPhone 4. It was an iPhone 4S, and I went to an iPhone 5, and now I have the iPhone 8 Plus. The thing was, I really did appreciate my iPhone 4 because, you know, it was a great time waster. I could go on Facebook, I could go on Instagram, I could watch videos on YouTube. I could just sit there and be in my own world, riding my bus to places. This was before I became really studious and started listening to my recorded lectures. I would listen to music, a whole bunch of stuff. Where on a phone like my father's, it was just, you call. That's it. You call people. Which kind of brings up the thing with all these new cars. You know, the driver assistant aids. So, if the car senses that you're getting too close to the car in front of you, the brakes will automatically apply. If the car senses that you're swerving out of a lane, the car will bring itself back into the lane. And then Tesla, and I think it's GMC, have these self-driving self-pilot or autopilot parts. Do people really appreciate that now? And then when it gets to a point where it's really commercially available, will people appreciate it at that time? You know, does it just become something that's expected of car makers that, oh, this car has to have an autopilot program? Because me, and I think you can tell, and that's why I play this, that's why I play Assetto Corsa, I enjoy driving. I know, it's funny, I'm blind and I enjoy driving. Who gave this guy a license? Nobody. But, yeah, I enjoy driving, so I wonder, would autopilot really be something that I'd like? And then, at a time when it becomes widely commercially successful, will people appreciate it for what it is? Or appreciate it for more of what it is? Or not even appreciate it? That's just the curious case I have right now. So, okay, guys. At this point, I'm running out of things to say other than be decent to each other. And I'm going to drop a song in that was provided to us by Garages, just like the intro song. Later.